to Shiv Prasad Prabhu and Kavita Mataji and their son Adi for inviting this beautiful book. Actually, one of the forms of Krishna to their home, and it's not one they invited. They're so wonderful, so spiritually advanced, and they have invited three, which is how it should be. What else is there to possess in this world? You know, there is no other wealth other than Krishna. He's our dhan, he's our pran, he's our life and soul, treasure of our life. So actually, every room should have a Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhuji has inspired us also. Yes, I mean we are very, we're very proud. We speak multiple languages, so why not have this beautiful book, a form of Krishna in multiple languages, one in each room? People put all these books on coffee tables, as a conversation starter. So what better conversation starter than Srimad Bhagavatam proudly displayed in the front of your house? So this is very, very glorious. Thank you, Prabhuji, for doing that. So let's get started. Who here has heard about Srimad Bhagavatam before? The book, okay. And who has heard of Bhagavad Gita? Everybody has heard of Bhagavad Gita, right? Everybody hopefully has Bhagavad Gita. And if you don't, again, we have many languages here, so please feel free to get English or whatever languages you want. Bhagavad Gita also, just like we have, multiple cell phones. Each person has their own cell phone. Even each person has their own car nowadays. So why not Bhagavad Gita? That's something each person should have their own. Write in it, write your questions, your realizations, your understandings, your routine, your sadhana, everything. Share your heart with Krishna. Krishna has shared his heart in Bhagavad Gita. So you also share your heart with Krishna. But yeah, so Bhagavad Gita, I think most of you understand, it was spoken by Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Right? And Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. It is a conversation, it's a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. So Krishna basically gives us, how to conduct our life, how to live this life. Why are we here? Where do we have to go? Who is the Supreme Lord? Who is our creator? Who is the creator of this world? Why did he put us here? What is our purpose here? And what is our goal? How do we get back? We have to get back, and how do we get back? What is our connection with him, relationship with him? So he talks about all that philosophy, all that you can say fundamental, elementary philosophy in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so it's spoken by Krishna, and it can be a very heavy philosophical book. Sometimes people have hard time getting through Bhagavad Gita because it is very confidential, intricate philosophy that you need a teacher to help you with. So Bhagavatam is the next step after Bhagavad Gita. But the difference between the two, and why we are not glorifying Bhagavad Gita, we are glorifying Bhagavatam today, is because Srimad Bhagavatam is not spoken by Krishna really, it's spoken by his devotees. So Krishna ends Bhagavad Gita with the main principle of Sarva Dharman Parityaja. That's where Krishna ends Bhagavad Gita, right? Everybody, hopefully some of you know this verse where he says that Sarv Dharman Parityaja, give up all variety, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. So he says, I'll take care of you. Do not fear. Ma Shucha, do not fear. Have no worry. Imagine such a big person, said the Lord of the world, the supreme maintainer, creator, proprietor tells you have no worry. That's where he ends it. That's where he ends Bhagavad Gita. Have no worry, have no fear. I got your back. I got you. That's where he ends. So then Bhagavatam is where all the devotees of the Lord show how to live your life according to the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So speaking philosophy is one thing, but then living your life according to that philosophy is another, right? So Krishna did not really act out the philosophy, he just spoke it. But then the devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam will show you how to surrender completely to Krishna, how to completely make your life Krishna conscious, how to align everything with the desires of the Supreme. So Srimad Bhagavatam is full of stories. This is philosophy, of course, but mostly it's full of stories. So it's a little bit easier to read compared to Bhagavad Gita, even though it's bigger. It has 18,000 verses, but it's in the story form. There are many stories there. So there is story of Parikshit Maharaj, story of Bali Maharaj, story of Narsingh and Prahlad, Queen Kunti, Bhishma Dev, think of all the various devotees and all those pastimes, all those leelas of Krishna in different forms with different devotees in different moods are described here. Okay. So the reason I have called this the Book of Divine Love, and it's not me that calls it, it is often referred to as the Book of Divine Love, because this book does not just tell you about dharma, arth, kam, moksha. Is everybody familiar with these four terms? Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So these are the four purusharths by which we live. Religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. These are the four principles of human life. This is what we should be conducting our life towards. Like, we should have some religious principles, we should be aiming towards economic development. Can everybody get a seat? Please come. There is a lot of space here, lot of space. Kids, please, you can come here.
I think we could sit there also anyway, so.
So a lot of Vedic literature, and can anybody tell me who composed all the Vedic literature? Who has written it down? Vyasadeva, right? Vyasadeva has written down all the Vedic literature. So all the Vedic literature is mostly catering towards or addressing these four needs of humans: dharma, arth, kam, and ultimately moksha. Okay. So you come here, you engage in some sense gratification, some activities, right? That's kam. You aim towards some economic development, so you earn money, you worried about the progress of the community, progress of the country. That's economic development, and everybody should be doing these things in balanced fashion. All these things should be done. And then dharma, there are some certain religious principles we follow. You worship certain Devi, Devta, or Bhagwan. Various ways of worship we have. So some worship should be done. That is religion, dharma. And then ultimately, we have to get out of here, which is moksha. That's liberation. So we know that our time here is short. This body, this material body, and our time here in this material world is very temporary situation. We have to get out of here. That's moksha. Those are the four principles. Now, this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, unlike rest of the whole Vedic literature, so there is a very big compendium of Vedic literature. You know, it has so many Puranas. There are 18 Puranas. There are 108 Upanishads. There are 4 Vedas. And then there are there are 2 Itihasas, right? Ramayana and Mahabharata. Like that, there is a lot of Vedic literature that Vedvyas composed. But Srimad Bhagavatam stands apart from all of that because it does not talk about those 4 Purusharth. It talks about a Pancham Purusharth. That is a Pancham Purusharth. And what is that Pancham Purusharth? Who knows? Bhakti, the prem, the love, Krishna prem, the love towards God. So we all have this inherent love towards God that we have forgotten because we have accepted this body and this material world as our situation, as a permanent situation. So we think we belong here. We start making our life very comfortable and nice here. We start accumulating all kinds of paraphernalia to make life comfortable. And we forget eventually, gradually, through lifetimes after lifetimes, we start forgetting our love for God. So this is the book of divine love that reawakens that lost love of God within our heart. So that is the goal of this book. And let me keep moving with this. So when I used to read all kinds of books, I saw this nice quote. Sometimes you read a book and it fills you with this weird evangelical zeal, and you become convinced that the shattered world will never be put together unless and until all living humans read the book. That's how I feel about this book, about Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how our acharyas feel about this book. So this is that book that can make this unfortunate, this inauspicious world auspicious again, this broken world, the broken hearts whole again. This is that book. So if you need one thing in your life, where to invest your money, this is where all the returns will be. Anything else in life, do not give you permanent returns. This is permanent returns, eternal returns. Just say, you put investment in a bank, you get some money back, but it's only for this life, for a few years, few days, whatever, but it's lost after this life. This will give you eternal returns. So I really, really believe this about this book. that everybody should have this book in their home. Every living human should read this book. Our Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada used to say that your life is not auspicious until you have read Srimad Bhagavatam. So please invite Srimad Bhagavatam, have it in your house and start reading if you can. Before I go too further, let's chant some prayers, and then I'll tell you how Bhagavatam came into being, when it came into being, how it was given to us. We'll talk about all of that, and we'll see how Bhagavatam will also help solve some of our problems today. Okay, let's say some prayers. Whoever knows, please chant with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालयं कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरे कृष्णा। We'll say some more prayers later, but I just want to tell you a few things about this book before we enter into the pages of Bhagavatam. And please feel free to hold the books, open the books. It may be hard to find the relevant verses during the class, but if you can, I encourage, please do so. So, like I was saying, this is book incarnation, Krishna's book incarnation. Krishna comes in many forms. Everybody agrees. He came in the form of a fish. He came in the form of a boar. If he comes in the form of a mountain, he's called Giriraj, Govardhan, right? If he comes in the form of a plant, it will be Tulsi Maharani. If he comes in the form of a human, it will be your Gurudev, right? If he comes in the form of a material substance, it will be a Vigraha, a deity, right? So he comes in many, many forms. So we should not think that this is just an ordinary book. It's like saying, okay, this fish, Matsya Avatar is standing next to you and say, this is an ordinary fish. No, this is not ordinary. This is Supreme Lord himself, the original creator, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of everything, the cause of all causes, the source of all sources, the Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. That's that Supreme Lord. That's this book is. So we should not confuse it with just any other book. Okay. And it is described that the first and second book are his feet actually. So you know how you when you go to the temple you take darshan. How do you take darshan? From feet up, right? The face, the lalat or face is the last thing you see. So similarly, you're recommended to read the book from feet up. So book 1 and 2 are the feet, like that. Book 3 and 4 are the thighs of Krishna. Book 5th is the belly or the abdomen, the udar of Krishna. Book 6th is the chest. 7 and 8 are the arms of Krishna. Book 9 is the throat. 10, okay, 10 is the face. And this is actually the last one we should read, even though there are 12 cantos. 11th is then the forehead and 12th is the head. The face is most important, right? But that's the one we should read later on when we have more understanding about our relationship with the Supreme. Why? Because in 10th canto, Krishna's very, very confidential pastimes in Vrindavan are described. Not only Vrindavan, in Mathura and Dwarka also, but a lot of, uh, that Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan are like he's completely free there. He's with his beloved devotees. He's completely open and he's at home. Vrindavan is his home. He's at home. So those pastimes will be difficult for us to understand because right now we don't have too much faith in the Supreme Lord. So first we need to understand about us, about Supreme Lord, our relationship with him before we get to 10th canto. So it's recommended to read from feet up. Now let me tell you how Bhagavatam came about, when it came about. So Bhagavatam is eternal. Okay, it has always existed. Okay, but there was a time when it manifested for us. So how did that come about? So I just told you that Ved Vyas is the compiler of all Vedic literature, right? Now he did all this creation of various Vedic literatures, but still he was feeling little morose. He was not content. He was not satisfied. Does anyone know the reason of his dissatisfaction? Ved Vyas was not feeling completely satisfied. Yes, Navya.
Because he only wrote about the like less.
So Ved Vyas was not happy because
He didn't write about Krishna's pastimes or he only wrote the philosophy.
yeah, so he was not feeling very happy. Actually, he did not know why he's feeling dissatisfied. So he was sitting in a very morose state when his guru came. Who's his guru? Who's the guru of Ved Vyas? Narad Muni. Narad Muni came. Narad Muni, when he saw him dissatisfied, depressed like this, he said, Ved Vyas, why are you so dissatisfied? You have done such amazing work. Look at this volumes of Vedic literature that you have compiled for the benefit of all human society. So why are you dissatisfied? He said, I don't know, Gurudev. Something is bugging me. Something is not right. Can you tell me? So, of course, Guru knows the heart of the disciple. So, Narad Muni said, he revealed to him, the reason you are not happy, you're not content with your creation is because you have not glorified the Supreme Lord in a completely pure way. Completely, but what we call unalloyed. Like there is no mishran of any dharma, arth, kam, moksha. Just pure devotional service, pure bhakti, pure love and devotion of the jiva, of the soul for the Supreme Lord you have not described. So since you have not done that most essential thing, like you made the dal, you've not put the salt, you've not put the main ingredient, the most important ingredient that the jiva, the soul hankers for, the crown jewel of everything you have not given. So you need to write, you need to compile Srimad Bhagavatam, which is going to describe all the glories, all the pastimes, the name, fame, qualities of the Supreme Lord, the relationship of Supreme Lord with his various devotees in various forms, in various moods, various rasas, right? So you have not described that. So please do so. So when Ved Vyas then compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam, this voluminous literature of 18,000 verses. Now, how did it come to us? How did we get this? So for that we have to go into a story, okay? And some of you may know this story. So let's recite this verse. It comes in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Swadhamopagate, Krishna Swadhamopagate, Dharma Jnanadibhi Saha, Dharma Jnanadibhi Saha, Kalau Nashtadrishamesha, Kalau Nashtadrishamesha, Puranarko Dhunodita, Puronarka Dhunodita. So, Krishna Swadhamopagate. About 5,000 years back, Krishna came, right? He did so many pastimes in different with different devotees. He established Bhagavad Gita. He established the principles of religion again. And then Swadhamopagate. He went back to his own dham. Is that right? He went back. So when Krishna went back, with him, all the auspiciousness, all the good things, everything went away. All the light, all the knowledge, all the, it says, dharma, jnana, adibhi, dharma, jnana, all the good things that are the only light in this world, the dharma and jnana, knowledge and renunciation and religion, everything went with him. So this world was again full of darkness. Okay, this world was again made dark. So at that time, we needed a source of light. We need Krishna's presence at all times. So at that time, this Srimad Bhagavatam Puran arose as the sun. Kalau nashta drishamesha. Let's read the translation actually. Bhagavatam Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran. So this particular Bhagavatam Puran arose like the sun when Krishna had gone, when Krishna had left, this came in the form of Krishna, or Krishna came in the form of this book. So what was the premise set? How did, whenever Krishna comes, there has to be a whole adventurous, Leela that has to be set up, a whole stage has to be set up for the hero to come. This hero doesn't come like this. Hero has to make an entrance. So how does Srimad Bhagavatam come? He didn't just, okay, somebody wrote the book and it's there, okay, you can read it. It's not like that. Whole premise was made. Everything had to shake up before Bhagavatam would appear, before Krishna would appear. So what happened? Let's look at that. This is Narad Muni talking to Vyasadeva that you need to write Srimad Bhagavatam. But this is where our story is. I'll just tell you very quickly because I have very detailed stories in the Bhagavatam that I want to touch quickly. Can everybody get a seat? It'll be hard to listen standing up for Shravanam Seva. Please settle down very comfortably, get comfy, cozy. And this side is completely open. Agni Vedi, would you come forward? Let make space. Yeah, we have Prabhuji has a beautiful, big, wonderful house. So please take seat. Okay. So this is what happened. So Krishna has left. Now, who is ruling the world at that time? Parikshit Maharaj. Who is Parikshit Maharaj?
Sorry, yeah,
Grandson of Arjuna, son of Abhimanyu. Son of Abhimanyu, grandson of Arjuna. Parikshit is ruling the world. And of course, the whole story is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm just going to give you this is just an advertisement. So this is just a sneak peek, okay? So you see what is to come. So for details, you have to open the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and get the nectar for yourself. But what happened was, Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a sage, by a Brahman boy, not like a little young teenage boy of a Brahmana. Okay, he was cursed because of a little offense committed by Parikshit Maharaj. And he was cursed to die in 7 days. Okay, he was cursed to die in 7 days. So and Parikshit Maharaj, he thought he had made an offense, so he very properly, very nicely, he accepted his fault and he accepted that curse. Okay, he could have fought, he could have retaliated, he could have rebuked that little boy, but he accepted it. He said, okay, I will take this death after 7 days, but in these 7 days, what should I do with my time? In these 7 days, what should I do? So he assembled a lot of great sages and great personalities to get their advice. What should I do in these 7 days? So they all agreed unanimously that there is only one thing to do in the last 7 days of your life, and that is to do Srimad Bhagavatam, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a great personality. Okay, hear the glories, the name, fame, qualities, pastimes of the Lord from a great personality. And Parikshit Maharaj agreed. Let's do that. So this is one of the lesson here to learn, that Parikshit Maharaj, he knew that he was going to die in 7 days. And so what did he do? He surrendered his life to just hearing about Krishna. Day and night, the whole time he was hearing about Krishna. As for us, we really don't even know if we have 7 days. We don't even know if we have 7 moments, 7 seconds, 7 minutes. Anything can happen. And yet, we loiter our life in the absorption in this world. In politics and cricket and news and a lot of things are going on to distract us, and we allow ourselves to be easily distracted by those things in the world. But remember that just like Parikshit Maharaj, death can come anytime. He knew that he had 7 days to live. We don't have that privilege. That was the advantage he had. But those 7 days, he decided to just hear about the Lord. And who did he hear from? Shukdev Goswami. Who is Shukdev? So this is Shukdev Goswami on your screen. You can, sorry, not this. This is Shukdev Goswami on the Vyasasan. So, and this is Parikshit Maharaj. And there are all the sages. You can see Narad Muni. Wherever there is Krishna Gatha going on, there is always Narad Muni. So that's why I was saying, take seats, because Narad Muni is watching. He's going to report to the Supreme Lord who was listening and who was not listening. Because he's listening, even if you're not. So Narad Muni is always there for all Hari Kathas, just like Hanumanji is there for all Ram Kathas, right? So this is Shukdev Goswami. Who is Shukdev Goswami? Son of Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, who has compiled all this literature, his son, a very, very renounced personality, the Vairagya Chudamani, this Shukdev Goswami is who everybody chose to become their speaker and speak this Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights to Parikshit Maharaj. And this is Parikshit Maharaj. So this is the Srimad Bhagavatam that was spoken for those 7 days and 7 nights. And then later on, Vyasadeva compiled all that in the book form. And this is how it came to us. Now, the premise, how Parikshit Maharaj got cursed, what mistakes he made or what happened, how he would be killed by this snake bird, all those things, all those details are in Srimad Bhagavatam. But this is the premise that Srimad Bhagavatam is the conversation between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Okay. Now, another beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam is that it is a conversation within conversation within conversation. It's not just so. Couple things that we can learn from this is one, you will see that people are always talking to each other about spiritual matters. Whenever they're asking questions, Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukdev Goswami only about Supreme Lord. Tell me more about devotional service. Tell me how one can make their life perfect. Tell me what is the duty of a man who is going to leave his body. So many spiritual questions he's asking. And when Shukdev Goswami answers, he does not just answer. He quotes another conversation that happened between other elevated people. Like he will say, okay, let me tell you what Narad Muni said to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Let me tell you the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. Let me tell you what Yamraj said to so and so. Like that, there is always conversation within conversation within conversation. Which means that whenever we talk, first of all, we should try to talk about spiritual topics. Secondly, whoever is answering should always quote a superior person than them to answer. That nothing is concocted. We don't have any our own understanding or with our own limited intelligence. We don't speak. We speak what great personalities have spoken before us. So Shukdev Goswami sets this example in Srimad Bhagavatam that I'll answer this question based on a story or based on the conversation between other people. What Krishna said to Uddhav. Let me tell you the whole conversation between Krishna and Uddhav. Like that, conversation within conversation. And you see that actually in our sampradaya, Krishna consciousness ISKCON that we follow, this is a very strong rule that we never make up anything. We always speak what other great personalities have spoken from the literature, from the scriptures itself. So in this way, this Bhagavatam came into being. Let's say some prayers for Srimad Bhagavatam before I get into the deeper topics. So we'll say this mantra. This mantra is like the Khulja Sim Sim for before you recite Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to say just like the cave full of treasures. Kaun tha wo? Ali Baba. Ali Baba had to say Khulja Sim Sim to get the treasure. So to get the treasure of Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiriyet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please recite these two verses after me. I don't have them on the screen, but they're easy to follow. Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna, Swakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. हृदि अंतस्थो हि अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् One more. नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So what we just said was Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna. So by hearing the glories, the katha of Krishna, Shrinvatam, hearing. So you remember we chanted this song, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, right? So there are 9 limbs of devotional service. Okay, 9 basic principles of devotional service. The first of that is hearing. So hearing about the Lord. And what does that do, hearing about the Supreme Lord? Shravanam Swakatha Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtana. It is very punya. It is very auspicious, very purifying. Okay, it is mangal. It is punya. Riddhi antasto hi abhadrani. Riddhi means heart. Anto, inside our heart. Abhadrani, abhadra. Very, very inauspicious, contaminating, ill things are there. Very, very nasty, dirty contaminations are hiding inside our heart. Right? Everybody knows we have anger, greed, illusion, pride, attachments, whatnot. Kam, krodh, lobh, moh, mad, matsarya. Many, many such things are there. So whatever abhadra or whatever inauspicious is hiding within our heart, Riddhi antasto hi abhadrani. Vidu noti suhrit satam. It completely cleansed. The heart becomes completely cleansed by hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord, by hearing the katha of the Supreme Lord. Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna. So, Krishna lives in a clean place, right? Our altar is clean, our temple is clean, so our heart has to be made clean before Krishna's love will be reawakened inside it. So in order to make it clean, it's not just enough to wash your body and wash your teeth and all this. You have to clean your heart. So heart has to transform. Heart has to become pure of all these bad qualities that we have collected, bad samskaras, bad impressions that we have collected over lifetimes and lifetimes. And then the next verse says, Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu. Again, same thing. Abhadra word. Abhadra means something that's not bhadra. Like Bhadra Purnima is coming up. I was telling Mataji, you have invited Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima. So Bhadra Purnima is the day which is so auspicious that you invite Srimad Bhagavatam into your house, and Bhagavatam says itself that whoever gifts or invites Srimad Bhagavatam on the day of Bhadra Purnima immediately goes back to Godhead. I mean, this is a bold declaration by Srimad Bhagavatam itself, that on the day of Bhadra Purnima, if you invite Srimad Bhagavatam, you go back to Godhead. So Bhadra means something very auspicious, and Abhadra means something very inauspicious. So Nasht prayeshva bhadreshu. Nasht means destroyed. All the abhadra things will be destroyed. By what? Nityam Bhagavad Sevya. Nityam, eternally. You can say daily, but we are eternal beings, so eternally serving the Bhagavatam. How do you serve Bhagavatam? How do you serve Bhagavatam? Just not just its arti is not enough. The book will be served by hearing, reading, underlining, highlighting, asking your questions, have some doubts, clarify those doubts, get a teacher, talk to other people about Bhagavatam, do Bhagavatam Katha, hear Bhagavatam. This is the glorification. This is the seva of Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. So by daily serving Srimad Bhagavatam, Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu, and what happens? Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Uttam Shloka. Who is Uttam Shloka? Uttam Shloka is another name of Krishna. Why is he called? There are so many names, right? Everything practically is a name of Krishna. But why is he called Uttam Shloka? Because the verses that describe him are topmost. So there are two meanings. One, he is described in the topmost verses. Secondly, even if those verses are not grammatically the best, not composed in the best meter, they become best because they're glorifying Krishna. So Uttam Shloka means the topmost verses glorify him, and all the verses that glorify him become perfect, topmost. So he's Uttam Shloka. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. The devotion, Naishtiki Bhakti means uninterrupted, unmotivated devotional service will manifest in the heart of such a soul who's daily, eternally serving the Bhagavatam. So those are some verses, and you can see their numbers. They're in the first canto, second chapter, verse 7 and 8. So let's go into my main topic that I had planned for today. I'll try to cover it within next 30 minutes. So the topic was dealing with hardships through Srimad Bhagavatam. Because sometimes we can think, these Puranas, these are Purane. We don't need them anymore. They're old. They're irrelevant. They're not, they're outdated. This knowledge is outdated. So we don't need to read Bhagavad Gita and we don't need to read Srimad Bhagavatam. This is outdated, irrelevant knowledge. But I'm going to show to you today that this knowledge is eternal. This knowledge is relevant to all people at all times, irrespective of the gender, the species, the color, the caste, the country, the community, anything. It transcends all those materialistic limitations, all those bodily limitations. This literature is meant for everyone and anyone. So this is a book of divine love. So the common language here is love, but we'll see how Bhagavatam will help you deal with some hardships. So I'll take just very quick snippets, some stories from Srimad Bhagavatam to give you just a little taste of what Bhagavatam has, how it provides solution for all the problems. So the first problem, since we've already talked about this story just now, is about Parikshit Maharaj. So I called this a terminal illness. I called it a terminal illness because what are some of the big problems we can think about in our life that we're very worried about? We're afraid. We're afraid to lose our health, right? Very important because health is very important. So any terminal illness, let's say somebody gets a diagnosis, and I'm a physician, so I see this all the time where somebody gets a diagnosis of a terminal cancer, where we tell them you have so much time to live, that this is it. Wrap up all your material attachments and this is it. So this is a terminal illness, right? You worry about losing your health. What are some other things? You worry about losing your wealth or property, job. So worry about losing loved ones or family members. Hare Krishna, Mataji, please come. Mataji, there is space here on the couch. No, please sit. We are here for next 30 minutes, so please get comfy. So I call this terminal illness because Parikshit Maharaj was also told that he has 7 days to live. We have said this many times. You have only 6 months to live. You have only 1 year to live. This is it. Just maybe a couple years more, we can extend your life. All this we always say, but he had 7 days to live. So what did he do with that time? First of all, so some things to learn here. First, so you can understand how to deal with a condition like that. This takes us to the basic principle of you are not this body, you are the soul. So that's where the first principle comes, that when you're living your life, you live it in such a way that you don't collect too much unnecessary attachments in this world. But when the time comes to break those attachments, you will feel very fearful of death, right? So what did Parikshit Maharaj do when he was told that he has 7 days to live? We take examples of these great Mahabhagavad devotees. What did he do? He was immediately able to give up his kingdom, his spouse, his wealth, right? His professional responsibility. He was a very big professional man. Everybody relied on him. The whole world relied on him. But he was able to get all his affairs in order very quickly because he wanted to now immerse completely in the Krishna Varta, in Harikatha, in Bhagavad Katha. So he, by his example, shows us how to tolerate these influences of time. Why do we go through these problems, health problems or whatever problems? They come according to the influence of time, right? So he was able to tolerate those. What does Krishna say? Anybody can tell me in Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say about how one should tolerate the influences of time? Okay, Navya knows. Anybody else knows? Kids? Okay, go ahead, Navya.
Mata Spashastu Konteya Shitushna Sukadukada Agamopano Netya Stasapekshastu Bharata.
Very bold. So he says, Matra Sparshastu Konteya, Bhagavad Gita 2.14. Matra Sparshastu Konteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada. That these problems will come. You're an eternal being. This is just a small chapter in your eternal existence. So if this life is getting over, you will get next life. Like based on your activities in this life, you'll get next. So this is just a very short chapter of your existence. But we become so attached in that particular chapter that we become very fearful of all these type of losses and fearful conditions. But he was able to tolerate, he was able to surrender completely to the Supreme Lord. And in this regard, it is said about him that Titikshva karunika suhrida sarvadehinam ajat shatrava shanta sadhava sadhubhushana, that he was very tolerant in this situation. He did not retaliate against the situation. He did not try to fight it. He did not try to, find any artificial solutions to this problem. And he did not hold any grudges or animosity against that Brahman boy. He just surrendered to the Supreme Lord, was hearing from Bhagavad Katha um, from the great sage Shukdev Goswami. So this is what I want you to ponder on this particular topic, a terminal illness. It is said that as soon as we take birth, there is one guarantee, there is one thing that is sure. Death is sure, right? That our time here is limited, we will die. So it's said birth is the terminal illness. So it's not like it's not like somebody who has diagnosis of cancer or something, that person has terminal illness. All of us are heading towards death only. This person's time, has come up, but your time is also coming up. With every day, every night, your life is only getting short. So that terminal illness is nothing but life, right? So it said here, the your perception of time changes. Right now you're thinking, I have a lot of time. Right now you think, okay, everybody else is dying in corona, everybody was dying, but I will not die, I will live here forever. No, you're not going to live here forever. They died now, or they're, but you also have a very limited time and it's coming to an end. So the important thing here is, just like in those 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj valued that 7 days and invested completely, immersed himself in hearing Bhagavad Katha. Can we also come to that perception, that understanding that our time is also limited, and make best use of this human life, make best use of the limited time that we have, because we don't know how much time we have. So why don't we make best use of that limited time? Why don't we feel that urgency, that emergency that a person with terminal illness feels? Why don't we feel that? Why do we feel that we will live forever? We don't know if we're going to live forever, yet we don't feel that emergency, that urgency. So in Bhagavatam 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj says that actually we should practice this science of devotional service from the childhood. We should value this human life. This human life is very rarely achieved. And once you achieve this human life, every minute should be utilized in the service. So he says, Kamaramacharet pragyo dharman bhagavatan iha durlabham manusham janma tad api adhruvam arthadam. Durlabham manusham janma. This human life is very, very rarely achieved. So you should practice this science from Kaumaram, from childhood. Because some people will say, oh, bacha hai, why should he have to read Bhagavad Gita? Why should he understand this knowledge of devotional service? When we are 70 plus, 60 plus, then we will do it. But you don't know if you will get to become 60 plus or 70 plus, right? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. But it's a luxury, it's a privilege to become old, but not everybody has that luxury to become old. So we should practice this as early as possible. Whenever you come in contact with Bhagavad Gita, you should practice.
When we do get old, then we get so much other attachments, then we are like, no. Like just our example, usually our parents say, if I try to tell any of this to our parents, they're like, well, now we're set in our ways. You can't change it now.
Yeah.
Right? But as the age, you're set in your ways, you're set in what you have been doing. And so you don't, then still you don't find time. They find time for everything else. People find time for everything else. Watching news, watching movies, watching, this and that. They will find something to do, but not this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have become very busy. So too busy to do the only important thing that matters in life, actually. So this is the only thing that's eternal. Everything else that you do is very temporary and will finish with the body. This is the only eternal credits you will get. So there is a conversation that comes in Mahabharata between the Dharmaraj Yudhishthir and between that Yaksha, who was none other than the Yamraj himself. So between Yaksha and Yudhishthir, a conversation comes, and Yudhishthir asks, or Yamraj asks Yudhishthir, what is the most strange thing about this world? What is the most weird thing, unique thing about this world? So he says this. He says, Ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti iha yamalayam shesha sthavaram icchanti kim ascharyam ataparam. He says the most wonderful thing within this world is that hundreds and thousands of living entities are meeting death at every moment. But a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. Ahani hani bhutani. With every moment, gacchanti iha yamalayam. We are all going towards the abode of Yamraj. But people that remain here, Shesha means people that are remaining here. Sthavaram icchanti. They think that I am eternal. And Kim Ascharayam Athaparam, they still don't get the message that we will also be finished. So let's make use of this time. So this is not, we're not trying to make you death conscious here. What we're trying to tell you is that every moment needs to be valued, needs to be lived properly, needs to be lived with the higher purpose, the highest goal in mind. Not just while away our time, just waste away our time in mundane, ordinary pursuits of day to day, of just maintaining your body and just entertaining your body and entertaining the bodily extensions. That's not our goal here. That's not our purpose here. That will not take us anywhere. So if we really want to achieve the highest goal of life, which is to go back to Godhead, then we need to realize the value of whatever time is left for us, and everybody has different time left here. So let's make use of that and remember that Manav Janma is very durlabh, and get out of here. So this is how one should, Bhagavatam tells you how to take a diagnosis of a terminal illness. Just make best use of the time that you have left, because all of us have a limited time. Then this story, this next story, some of you may know, this story comes in fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto if you want to see. This is the story of, who is this personality in the picture? You can see. This is Bharat Maharaj, right? Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj was a great king. Bharat Maharaj was a great king. But he made a mistake. He made a fatal mistake. Okay. What was his mistake? Let's look into this. So Bharat Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. He was such an advanced devotee that he had climbed all through the entire ladder of devotional service, and he was very close to Krishna Prem. Just before Krishna Prem, there is a stage called Bhav. Okay, he was on the level of Bhav. So there are 9 stages, and the 9th stage is Krishna Prem. We are on the very beginning. We are in the Shraddha stage. The first stage is faith or Shraddha. We are on the faith. We are just trying to restore our faith in the Supreme Lord. So that's where we are. But then you climb through the practice of devotional service, and the last stage is the love for Godhead, love for God, Krishna Prem. Before Krishna Prem comes Bhav. Okay. Bharat Maharaj was at the stage of Bhav. Very, very advanced situation. And it is said that from Bhav stage, nobody can fall down. From earlier stages, you can fall down. You can get attached to the material world again. But from such a high stage, it's very difficult to fall down. So, but Bharat Maharaj, what did he do was, towards the last few days of his life, like when he became very old, he took sannyas, he gave up his kingdom, and he went to live in a very isolated place. Okay, he was living in seclusion and was just doing his Nam Bhajan and his various sadhana practices and various spiritual practices. But one day he came across this little baby deer, little lamb, and he saved it from this in the river. Okay, the mother gave birth and mother was killed by the tiger. Again, the full story you'll read in Bhagavatam. But the lamb, so mother was killed, but the lamb was still there struggling in the river. So Bharat Maharaj saw this and he saved the little deer. And then he started taking care of the deer. Okay, now we also have loved ones we take care of. We also have attachments. So this is a very gentle, tender understanding here, but please try to understand with the correct perspective. Do you think we get attached to our loved ones, the people that are in our position of that are dependent on us, our dependents? Do we get attached to them? My daughter, right? My spouse, my family members, my parents, right? We do get attached to them, and this is natural. Attachment is natural. But what led to the fall down of Bharat Maharaj was that he got overly attached to the deer. Even though he knew all the principles of devotional service, he knew that he is not the ultimate maintainer for this deer. Just like we should also know that we can take care of our dependents to a certain extent. We can give them some knowledge, some bodily maintenance, something. But ultimately, when the time comes, their ultimate maintainer is who? The Supreme Lord. Could Draupadi be saved by her maintainers? The so-called maintainers. She had not one husband, she had 5 husbands to protect her. Were they able to protect her? Was Gajendra, I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Gajendra, his whole family was around in the river, when he was being killed by that crocodile, when he was being attacked by the crocodile. He was the king of elephants and he was being attacked by this crocodile and his whole family was there. Could anyone save him? Who came to save them? Who came to save Mother Draupadi? Who came to save Gajendra? What about Prahlad? Could his mother save him from the atrocities of his own father? No. Who came? Narsingadev, right? So ultimately, I know that we think we are the maintainer, the protector, the proprietor, the controller of our child, but ultimately, when the real problem comes, who will help? The Supreme Lord. So the best thing you can do for even for your child is to connect them to the Supreme Lord as early as possible, right? Make a very strong spiritual foundation so that their material life can grow on it nicely. Without spiritual foundation, whatever material advancements they make, that will not have a very strong foundation. So it's a building that will crumble when the difficulties, when the hardships of life of the world come, which inevitably they will come. It's not a matter of if they come, it's a matter of when they come. The problems will come. Did you give that spiritual foundation to your child so that they could stay strong in that time of disease, time of problems created by the world, when they lose their job, when they fail an exam? Are they able to stay strong and grounded and sober? We did not give them that spiritual foundation. We were just so worried about the externals and the superficial things that failed to give them the most important. So here what happened was that Bharat Maharaj got overly attached to this deer and he started thinking that, oh, what will happen to this deer after I'm gone? Who will take care of him? He was overly worried about him. And then what happened when his end time came, when the death came, Bharat Maharaj's death came? What came to him? What will come to him, come to us at our last minute when we are dying? What comes? Whatever we think throughout our life. Whatever we were attached to throughout our life, right? So if you were attached to your loved one, you're thinking of who will take care of my daughter? Who will take care of my son? Oh, what will happen to this person or that person, or my property or my job, or have this unfinished task left? So you have all these types of attachments that you're thinking about, and that is what will come at the end minute, end moment. And what does Krishna say about end moment in Bhagavad Gita? Who knows? Whatever you think about at the last minute, that is what you will get as the next destination. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra asamshaya. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajte ante kalevaram tam tam eveti konteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. In whichever consciousness you leave your body, in whatever thoughts you leave your body, whatever is your last thought, that is what you will attain as the next destination. So what do you think will happen to Bharat Maharaj? He's completely immersed, thinking about the deer. What will happen? Fatal mistake. Very, very fatal mistake. He will get the body of a deer. No matter he was on the level of bhav, he got the body of a deer. So this is him thinking about the deer. This is a fatal mistake. So something to remember, that you take care of your dependents, but don't get so overly attached that you think you are the ultimate controller, proprietor, and maintainer. Your duty is, Bhagavatam also says that nobody should become a teacher, a parent, a demigod, or a father, or a mother, or a guru who cannot deliver their dependents from this world. So Bhagavatam says, Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, devam na tatsyan, na patischa sasyan, na mochayad ya samupetam mrityum. Whoever cannot save their dependence from this material world, who cannot liberate their dependence from this material world, should not assume this very, very important position of a mother, a father, a spiritual master, or a guru, a demigod, a Devi Devta, or a parent. So very, very heavy sometimes Bhagavatam will get. But we need to hear heavy things in order to make a transformation in our life. Because otherwise we are happy, comfy, cozy in this material world. So just trying to break some paradigms that we have been taught by this world. But yeah, so he failed. He failed in that life. You would think it's a failure, right? What happened? Next life he became a deer. So, but we remember that no mistakes are final because we are eternal beings. We can rectify our mistake. So how did he rectify his mistake? He became a deer. His story is a story of 3 lifetimes. So 3 lifetimes. First he was Bharat Maharaj, then he became a deer, and then he became Jad Bharat. So it's a very beautiful story. Please read. Um, he became a deer, but as a deer, the one benediction that he got from the Supreme Lord was that he remembered his last birth. Typically, we don't remember our last birth, right? He remembered his last birth. He remembered the mistake he had committed. So he decided, this life I'm going to do sadhu sangha. So he would stay in the places of pilgrimage. He would hear the kirtan, the bhajan, the nam bhajan, the chanting of the sadhus, and he would stay around them. And so when the death came, of course, you cannot get liberated from animal life. So you have to come to a human life. So he got another human life. And this human life, he was completely renounced. He was so renounced that he was considered like a madman because he had no attachments in this world at all. And that was this Jad Bharat. So in this way, Lord gives us a second chance. You will see there is another story of Ajamil in Bhagavatam where Ajamil got a second chance. So, but some things to remember, that not to get overly attached in this world with various material properties, possessions that we have. And one must guard our Krishna consciousness, our devotional service very, very carefully. So that's why Krishna keeps talking about the principle of detachment in Bhagavad Gita, that do all your activities, but do them with detachment. So don't think that don't get attached to the results. Don't get so attached to your loved ones, your property, your family, everything. It's like a passenger in the train, right? They're just there for a short journey, for a short while. Then they will get off the train. They are not your eternal companions. So that is, no mistakes are final. Okay, another. Are we with the stories? Are we? Yeah, and this is all coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. Can we do couple more? Is that okay? Okay. So this is a story of Brahmaji. Who knows who's the creator of everything? Yes, Brahmaji. Okay, so Supreme Lord, typically we say yes. So Supreme Lord is the original creator, the primary creator of everything, and then under his supervision or under his orders, who creates as a secondary creator? Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is the secondary creator. So when Brahmaji was given this task of creating, he became very anxious. Okay. He started offering all these prayers to the Supreme Lord that I don't know where to put which planet, how to assemble all these material ingredients, all these material elements, and come up with a beautiful creation like you want. I don't know how to do this service. This is a very huge task, and I'm not able to. I don't think I'm worthy of this task. I don't know how to do this. So he became very anxious. So this is a very beautiful verses where Krishna, he tells Brahmaji how to do this service. He says, maybe I have those verses, but this is again more for devotees. Whatever services we are doing, we are undertaking. Like Prabhuji was organizing this program, he was feeling anxious. So how would I do everything? So any service that we undertake, and actually every action that we do in this life should be a service to the Lord. Should be a service to the Lord. But every service that you do will have some anxiety with it. That how would people be pleased with it? Would I be able to make the Supreme Lord happy? Would I live up to everybody's expectations? Everything comes with some anxiety, right? So do what Brahmaji did. So this section of Bhagavatam teaches us that you should always take shelter of the Supreme Lord, always pray sincerely to the Supreme Lord, surrender to Him, ask the guidance from your seniors, from your superiors, ask for their mercy, their blessings, their prayers. Because whatever we do, it's a very small amount of effort, but the 1% is effort, 99% is mercy, prayers, blessings of our superiors, of our seniors, of our parents, of our teachers, of the Supreme Lord. So we should express our anxiety, our heart with the teachers, with the mentors, and just make your little effort, tiny effort, and then you will see when you get out of the comfort zone to make that effort, all things become possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord, that's what he tells Brahmaji, don't worry about anything. Ma shucha, no worries. Don't worry about anything. Just surrender everything unto me and just do your service, and it will all happen. So that is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. You know, people that do not have Krishna in their life, people that do not have Supreme Lord and His mercy in their life, they will be actually very ordinary. If you really want to become extraordinary, you should add the blessings, the mercy of Krishna in your life. Because if your effort is very small and the rest of it will become 100% only if Krishna adds His mercy and blessings. So, and then we should take some risks. We should get out of our comfort zone to please Krishna. Like you all have come here, you know, you could have gone to movies or gone to mall or gone to some, you know, watch cricket at home or something like that. Huh? Go to a restaurant, cook out. It's a beautiful day, cook out. Slept a little longer. But you get out of your comfort zone to associate with Krishna. Do you get out of your comfort zone to do this service of Shravanam and Kirtanam? And so this is very pleasing to the Lord. So everything that every action that we do, if we add Krishna to it, it becomes becomes karma yoga, right? Food, when you make it prasad, when you add Krishna, it becomes prasad, right? Your home, when you add Krishna, when you invite Bhagavatam, what does it become? A temple, right? A person, an ordinary person, when you add Krishna to them, they become a devotee, a Vaishnava, a Bhakta, right? So everything becomes Krishna conscious, becomes spiritual, becomes karma yoga when you add Krishna to it. So that's the principle of karma yoga that Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita over and over again. So we should just leave everything to Krishna. Let him drive your chariot, right? Like how he was driving the chariot of Arjuna. Let him drive your chariot. So just make an effort and then offer all the results to him. It says, if you knew who walks beside you on the way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. So we should always remember, if you're holding Krishna's hand, no matter if you're crossing the street, no matter how many cars are coming from here, from everywhere, you are a child, you are holding his hand, you're in his lap, right? Then it's his responsibility to take care of you. It's not the responsibility of child anymore. So whatever service or whatever action you undertake, just leave it up to the Lord and he takes care of everything. So this was the anxiety in service. The verse says, Lord saw that Brahma was very anxious about the planning and construction of the different planetary systems. He was depressed upon seeing the devastating water. Krishna could understand the intention of Brahma, and thus he spoke in deep, thoughtful words, removing all the illusions of Brahmaji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. So he says, just like he says to Krishna, just like he says to Arjun, this war has already been won. You just have to fight. So nimitt matra bhav sabyasachi. The war has already been won. So in this way, whatever action you're undertaking, that has already been done. It's taken care of. All you have to become is the tool in Krishna's hand, the great author whose pen or great singer whose musician whose guitar you can become. I know everybody talked about this before. One of the greatest fears we have, one of the greatest problems in life, in our material life, is losing a loved one, right? Very difficult topics. I'll touch very gently and a little bit on this, but this is a story that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam and Canto 6, Chitraketu Maharaj. This is Chitraketu Maharaj who is crying for his child because he lost his child. So how to get over the loss of a loved one. So Bhagavatam is giving you all kinds of lessons, right? It's telling you how to deal with a terminal illness or how to deal with the loss of, we have loss of wealth and property also coming up if you want to stay for that. But basically, he lost his child. And then if you read this story, you will understand how Narad Muni came and helped him get through that loss. He said, why don't I bring your son back? You want your son back? I'll bring your son back. So you see in that second picture, the Narad Muni brought the son back. Okay, this is what he was grieving after. So here you go. There is your son. He's back. You wanted him, but when the son came to consciousness, he didn't recognize anyone. Who are these people? You're my father. Excuse me. So he said, I've had Narad Muni. I've had many fathers. I have had many mothers. I have had many grandfathers. I have had many grandmothers. I have had many teachers. I have had my kids of my own. I have been a wife of somebody and I have been a husband of somebody. I don't know these people out of those millions of people. Who is my father here that you're talking about? So when father heard this from his child's mouth, the one who had passed away, suddenly his illusion, his attachment broke, it shattered. Oh, because he was wasting his life. He was not taking care of his kingdom. He was not doing anything. He had completely given up on all kinds of activities, all kinds of responsibilities. So it suddenly, the whole illusion shattered for him, that I am hankering after this son, but he does not even remember me. He has moved on to another birth or another destination, another life, and maybe back to Godhead. And I am shirking away from my responsibilities. I'm not taking care of things that I need to do. So then he became a devotee. Then Narad Muni gave him the process, and in the last, you see his worshipable deity was Sankarshan, and he achieved. He went back to Godhead, went back to Lord Sankarshan by chanting the holy names. So his other births are also described in Srimad Bhagavatam. But this is again the basic principles. So you see how the basic principles of Bhagavad Gita are being displayed, are being carried out in the lives of great devotees in Bhagavatam. So the basic principle that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, and we leave the body just like we shed the clothes and take up new clothes, right? So in similar way, the soul also gives up the old body, the degenerated, degraded body that is not good for its purpose anymore. It gives up that body and gets a new body, right? So it is again basic knowledge. So in this way, there are many, many problems that will come in life. Prahlad Maharaj had problems with practicing and preaching devotional service. We don't have such problems. We live in US, right? We live in US. We are not living in like I don't know, inserts the name of those countries that have restrictions about practicing various different paths, right? Some countries have many restrictions. We are living in USA. Prabhupada himself came here, gave us the path of devotional service to all the people here. So he gave the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam here. So this, we're living in such wonderful country, such look at this house, wonderful community, country. There is nothing lacking. What is our obstacle? Nobody's stopping us like Hiranyakashipu was stopping Prahlad. We don't have anybody stopping us at all, right? So what is the holdback? What is the hold up? Why are we not taking up this path? Prahlad was practicing it even when Hiranyakashipu had so many objections and restrictions and was ready to kill him. Yet he was practicing. So what is our excuse? Why are we not practicing? So, and then preaching, not only he was practicing, he was preaching to the other kids in the school. He was preaching the science of devotional service. What is holding us from preaching? Why don't we go out and give Bhagavad Gita to everyone? What are we worried about? Everybody's very receptive. Everybody's very open-minded here. Why don't we do that? So Prahlad Maharaj could do that in such restrained, such constricted situations. Why not us? This is a story about loss of money and property. This is the song of Avanti Brahman, Bhikshu Geet, song of Avanti Brahman. This is all stories from Bhagavatam. I'm not making up anything. This is all coming up from Srimad Bhagavatam. Such treasure trove of knowledge and examples, and such exemplary people are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. How he lost everything and he became a great devotee of the Lord, surrendered his life completely to Krishna. Not all the stories are about hardships and loss. There are a lot of fun, wonderful stories also. There is a rags to riches stories also. Who knows? Who knows? Everybody knows this story, rags to riches story. Sudama, rags to riches, right? So this one was riches to rags, but that one is a rag to riches. So there are both kinds. Krishna knows how to purify you. Whatever is your hold up, whatever is your limitation, Krishna will take that away. So if you're too attached to the money, so it's your call. If you're too attached to the money, then he might take that away. If you're too attached to the loved one, if you're too attached to the property, to the job, so it's up to you. That's why Krishna says live without too much attachments, because he will cut that attachment, because that's the problem. That's what is holding you up in this material world. So better not be too attached to anything, right? So this is Avanti Brahman. This is a story, and these are multiple stories when people were wrongly punished, wrongly criticized, how to tolerate provoking situations, false criticisms or wrongful punishments. Who is the first one? There are multiple stories. Ambrish Maharaj was horribly punished by Durvasa Muni for something. Again, read the story. Who was the second? Who was the second person? Krishna and Samantakaju. Even Krishna, even Supreme Lord himself, when he comes, he's not, he cannot escape these wrongful criticisms. So he was also criticized for something, and how he tolerated that. And then who is this? The divine lady, Mother Sita, who was also wrongfully punished. So how to tolerate provoking situations? And I think that topic is actually very relevant to all of us, because we deal with provoking situations, false allegations, criticisms, negative behavior on a daily basis, multiple times at work, at home, and whatnot. So you can learn from multiple great personalities how to deal with provoking situations. Yes, Nami.
I think Bharat would be also a great example.
Bharat and Parikshit Maharaj. But you're talking about Bharat, the
Yes.
brother of Lord Ram, not the Bharat Maharaj. You're talking about Bharat of, yes. So Bharat was also, she's talking about Lord Ram's brother, Bharat, who was falsely accused that, hey, you were in the plot with your mother Kekai, and you have plotted this whole drama to get Lord Ram out of this kingdom. So he was also falsely accused, but he tolerated it. He tolerated that provocation also. The whole kingdom became against him, because their beloved Lord Ram and Mother Sita had been turned out of the kingdom, and they thought Bharat was in on it. That's what Navya is citing. So many examples. But this is where I will end. So there are many benefits of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It will cure your desires of material enjoyment. It will give you eternal life. It will give you liberation. It will take you back to Godhead. And most importantly, on a daily basis, it's a festival of mind. Every time, so the verse says that Manaso Mahotsavam. When you read this, there is a festival in mind going on. There is a great joy, once you get attached to Bhagavatam, you will feel the nectar, you will feel the pleasure, you will feel the association with divinity in your life. And that is Mano Mahotsavam, the festival of the joy in the mind. Because everybody is looking for joy, right? So you'll feel the great joy in your life when you're reciting, narrating, hearing, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And the most important is that devotional service will reawaken in your heart. So this book is full of the names of the Lord, pastimes, form, qualities of the Lord. It's full of the various prayers of various devotees, like Bhishma Stuti is there, Kunti Maharani's prayers, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Many prayers are there. And let me just end with this verse here. Please recite. This is from last canto, 12th canto. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi, Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate, Tadrasamrita Triptasya, Nanyatra Syadrati Kvachit, Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attached to any other literature. And then in the end, in Bhagavad Mahatmya, Krishna also, this is said by Krishna directly. He says, Ascharya etad hi manushya loke sudham parityajya visham pibanti namani narayana gocharani tyaktva anya vacha kuhaka patanti. He says, Ascharyam etad hi manushya loke. This is a great wonder in this manushya loke, in this world of society of humans. Sudham parityajya visham pibanti. Sudham means what? Whose name is Sudha here? Sudha means honey or nectar, right? Sudham parityajya. Sudha ko chhod ke, nectar ko chhod ke. Parityajya means to give up. Visham pibanti, vish peete hain. What a great wonder in this world that we give up the nectar to drink poison. Vish means poison. We are giving up honey and nectar to drink poison. Krishna is saying this. Namani Narayana Gocharani. They reject the names of Lord Narayan. Tyaktva anya vacha kuhuka patanti. They drink poison by speaking everything else in this world. Kuhaka patanti, like a crow. They are speaking all the things of this world and drinking poison. Tyak anya vacha. They will indulge themselves in all kinds of talks of this world. Tyatva anyavacha, giving up the names of the Narayan. They speak all these nonsense of this world and drink poison, giving up the nectar. This is such a wonder. Why would somebody do that? So this human life, it's very rare, and we should very, very emergently, very, very urgently take up this process of devotional service. Please invite Srimad Bhagavatam to your house and make your life auspicious. Because Bhagavatam also says, Durlabho manusho deho dehi nam kshana bhangura tatrapi durlabham manne vekuntha priyadarshanam. This human life is very difficult to achieve. Durlabh manusho deho dehi nam kshana bhangura. And it will be gone in a shana. It will be gone very quickly, like a bubble. Like to demigods, our life looks like a bubble. It will be gone very quickly. But even in that rare human life, it is very rare to achieve the association of devotees, Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam, or to achieve the association of the Supreme Lord. So this is the association of Supreme Lord. You can on a daily basis, you can associate with Supreme Lord directly. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to even go out of your house. You don't need any opulence or property or anything to associate with Supreme Lord. All you need is open the book, and as soon as you read even a word, a verse, 2 pages, 5 pages, whatever you can read, even if you read just a verse, you're associating with Supreme Lord directly. So this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll stop here. Thank you so much. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Any questions? Take questions for a few minutes. So, who's ready to invite Srimad Bhagavatam to their house? Yes, Mataji. Mataji is inviting. Oh, Hari Bol. Mataji is inviting English and Hindi Srimad Bhagavatam. That's wonderful. Very Bol. Very Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, please. That'll be wonderful. I was saying before, we have all these decorations and things in our house. Why not just decorate the house with Bhagavatam? It's Krishna himself. Let it be the conversation point. When people come to your house, they'll ask you about it. What is this book? And you get to do Harikatha. Harikatha is so purifying. The speaker gets purified. The hearer gets purified. There's one more person who gets purified. The one who asks questions. So so these are the 3 people who get purified: the speaker, the hearer, and the one who asks questions. So in our tradition, questions are very much encouraged. That's why Krishna encouraged Arjun to ask questions. Shukdev Goswami encouraged Parikshit Maharaj to ask questions. Maitreya Rishi encouraged Vidura to ask questions. Like that, we should ask questions. So any questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
So when you read it, Bhagavatam,
Mataji is getting her spiritual credit by asking questions. So she's not missing that point. She's like, let me get on it.
so like when we have like going to start reading the Bhagavatam, like it's a book, right? So we are every time supposed to do puja on that, and you can just sit anywhere and you can read it like as a book, or it's supposed to be sit on an asana and just read.
Mataji, anywhere, anytime, any place, any person, no qualifications needed, no arti, puja, nothing is needed.
Yeah, because it's just like Bhagavatam is a Krishna.
Yeah,
So-
but this is the form in which you can decorate Krishna by underlining, marking. Its decoration is to read it. Its decoration is to sit comfortably wherever you want. If you want to read with devotees, if you want to read with your kids, with your spouse, by yourself, however you want. With devotees, it's recommended because they can give you the proper realization and understanding, which the first few cantos can be hard to get through sometimes. Philosophy can be new. So it's recommended to read with devotees.
No rituals or anything contaminating can be as contaminating as much as purifying Srimad Bhagavatam is. So Srimad Bhagavatam can purify any
It is so purifying, so auspicious that it will purify everything. So you cannot become more pure than it. Also, in this material world, there are already so many restrictions. So we should not impose any more restrictions on these processes. The spiritual path is anyways very difficult to take up, very difficult to practice. So these bodily limitations of ki pehle naha ke, manjan karke, all this, yes, if you can do good, but the principle should not be forgotten. The principle is that the main thing should be the main thing should be the main thing. Okay, so keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is to read Bhagavatam. Everything else is very secondary. If you can do, fine. If you can't, you don't have to. We don't. We just read. Open the book and read. Yes.
Is there any? So with the mic so everybody can hear.
No, I
Online
will
also.
speak quite loud, so I think.
Online also we have people. So then they can also.
Sure. So, would you mind reminding us the 9 steps of faith?
Yes.
You know, like to be reminded.
Would any of you like to say?
The 9
Who
steps
knows
of
the
faith.
verse? Prahlad Maharaj says. Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischennava Kriyet Bhagavati Adha Tanmanne Dhitamuttama. So when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, what did you learn in the school? So Prahlad Maharaj took that ball and hit it out of the park. And what did he say? I learned Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu. O Pita, this is the duty of all living entities to worship Supreme Lord Vishnu. And these are the 9 limbs of devotional service. Bhaktis chain nava lakshana. Create Bhagavati Adda tan manne dhitam uttamam. That practice this perfect devotional service with your tan man and everything, with your body, mind, and words. So 9 limbs of devotional service.
Yes, Hare Krishna, I have one question.
Prabhuji is getting his credits because he already knows everything. So I don't know what he can ask.
We mentioned multiple times here that we know that our death is certain. We are going to die one day. But still we are living as if it's not going to come to me. So my question is, why does that happen to a lot of people? What is the main thing that makes the people totally unaware of the actual thing?
Why do we think that the death will not come to me? It's something that just happens to everybody else, but not to me. Huh? So probably the most important is the bodily identification. So we have very strong bodily attachment. So remember, the soul is eternal. The soul is eternal. Actually, I recently wrote an article about this, Elixir of Life. It's about Srimad Bhagavatam. So where the Prabhuji is asking, why does this feeling of eternality comes within us? Like all the modern scientists and all the previous potion makers, alchemists, pharmacists, they've all tried to come up with this elixir, this potion, this nectar that will prolong our life. Like in our Vedic literature comes the pastime of churning of ocean, so that they could churn the ocean and get the nectar and prolong their life. Everybody wants to prolong their life. I see this on daily basis. I've shared this many times. Being a OBGYN, I get women who will tell me, can you reverse my old age? I don't want to be old anymore. Can you fix my, I'm getting old. Can you fix my old age? Then I have to tell them, if you're lucky, you get to be old. Not everybody was lucky. There are many people, yes, many people who did not get to become old actually. So you're thinking that this is, yes, it's coming with its problems, but also you got more time in human life. Not everybody got that time. But there is a reason why this feeling of eternality comes to us. Modern scientists are also looking for solutions, right? People are trying to come up with various injections, potions, with various anti-aging creams and fillers, somehow to look youthful, be healthy all the time, be young all the time. So why do we feel that way? Because it is the nature of the soul to be eternal. Because soul is eternal. Soul is eternal. Soul is immortal. It does not die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va nabhuya. Nobody can cut it. Nobody can destroy it. Soul is eternal. But that eternal soul is stuck in this material body. So it is not coming to terms with the fact that this body will finish, because this situation is very artificial for the soul. The natural position of the soul is to be eternal, to be always joyful, always loved, always in love, right? To love and be loved and be joyful, blissful. So Anandamayo Bhyasa, that is the original position of the soul. And anytime it does not feel those things in this world, because that's not the nature of this world. The nature of this world is asat. asatsanga. So it feels disturbance in this world. It feels fear in this world. Last time when we did it, Vidushi Mataji's house, we talked about how this material world brings fear, how this material world leads to fear. Everything is very disturbing here for the soul because this is not the natural position of the soul. It's like fish out of water. So fish is hankering for that water, but it is troublesome. This position is troublesome. So it is not coming to terms with the fact that I will die. So it is identifying with the body right now, and it thinks that I am this body. Since I live forever, this body will live forever. But the only way to become eternal, immortal, is to actually get your next destination back to Godhead, become liberated.
Thank you.
But isn't it contradicting the fact that we should live with the hope? So you're saying that like we are stuck with this fact, right? So that means we shouldn't have hope for life. Like what should I infer from what you said just now?
In this life, yeah, we should definitely. So you mean to say, how to live your best life? Yeah. So if you understand your true position, actually you can live the best life possible, right? If you are in this illusion of that this is my permanent situation, everything will be happy with me, everything will go fine, people will always do what I want them to do, everything will be joyful, loving here, then your hopes will be shattered. But if you understand the true nature of this world is to bring you disturbances, bring you conflicts, bring you obstacles, the nature of this world is to purify you, to transform your heart, then you will be able to live here properly. Then you will be, because you right now you are thinking that this world is my eternal position. So when something disturbs that eternality, you become fearful. Oh, I was supposed to be always joyful here, I was supposed to be living here all the time, but now I'm aging, my health is deteriorating, now you will become disturbed, right? But the sober person, dheer purush, knows that this is not my original position. In this world there will always be ups and downs, there will be difficulties with the body, difficulties with the people. So then he will become actually best version of himself, because he knows how to tackle the problems, the hardships that we were talking about today, dealing with hardships. So he can actually become the best version of himself in this world. Otherwise people, they commit suicide, they become depressed, they become anxious, right? When difficulties come, when problems come, when aging happens, going for all these artificial solutions to everything, you will know that hey, this is how this world is designed. This world is designed by the creator for my purification. Does that answer my?
I have a question. Yeah, maybe silly question, I don't know. One of the king you mentioned is
Chitraketu?
Yeah, Chitraketu. He then autumn is talk louder. So that king you mentioned it, like now the son died in the age, right? So he's a devotee, right? He's a devotee. He's a really good person. Why he got that kind of punishment? He's a good guy, good person. He's a
Oh, that's a good question.
He should get the good life and happy. Why he got that pain?
Wow, very nice. So Mataji, many aspects to this question. First of all, devotee doesn't mean that you will always get all good things. Who said that? Let me declare this. That's the you will be. So it's not that the obstacles will not come. Obstacles will come, but you will be able to deal with the obstacles better. The road is still the same. The potholes on the road are still the same. But now, instead of driving a rundown car, you're driving that car with those big wheels, those big shockers. So the shock gets absorbed. So you don't get dug, 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 dug. That's not how you're driving your car. Your car is sailing smoothly on those potholes of the same road. So everybody's still driving the car on the same road, but you are not feeling the potholes because you have this layer of devotional service, this faith, this shelter, this Supreme Lord ka haath hai aapke sar pe, right? So in this world there will always be problem. Padam padam yad vibdam natesham. So Brahmaji says to Supreme Lord, समाश्रिताये पदपल्लवप्लवम् महत्पदं पुण्ययशो मुरारे भवाम्बुदिवात्स्पदं परं पदं padam padam yad vipdam natesham. This is from Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Brahmaji's prayers. He says to everybody else, all these hardships, all these problems will be like an ocean, very difficult to cross. But for your devotees, these this ocean will be reduced to the size of the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. You know how small the calf, right? Cow ka bachcha, calf. Calf ka hoof print is very small, like this. Now there is water in that hoof print. The big ocean of miseries will become as small as the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. Brahmaji is saying. To whom? Padam, padam. At every step, they will not feel the danger. For everybody else, there is danger. For that person who has taken shelter of your lotus feet, padam, padam yat vipadam natesham, who has taken the shelter of param padam, to that person, padam, padam vipadam natesham. So difficulties will come, but he will not be bewildered by those difficulties. So yes, the devotees will also lose their loved ones. They will also lose their property. Prabhupada himself is an example. He lost everything. So sometimes it's Krishna's arrangement to make you lose everything so that you surrender. But it's not. You're able to deal with problems better.
Because he's the devotee, he got instructions from Nārangi Devi.
Imagine Narad Muni came. Imagine he
get punished like small way, but they cannot allow big punishment. Then people who are seeing, they should be inspired, right? Oh, okay, they are following, then why not we can follow? They're getting trouble, then what's the difference?
Past karma everybody has to face, but also the story, the examples in the Bhagavatam are extreme, like how Prahlad Maharaj, somebody can say Prahlad Maharaj, why did he get tortured at the hands of his own father? That is too extreme, right? So examples are extreme. Also, he was not supposed to have a child. In order to get a child, he did all this tapasya, and Narad Muni told him, this child will bring you great distress. You still want him? He said yes. So for temporary happiness, because again, this is what? Artificial arrangement. To get something you are not destined to have. So there are many points that are proven through the story. This point is also being proven through Chitraketu's story, that actually when you make these artificial extra arrangements to get something that you were not destined for, this was not your allotted quota. You were not supposed to have a child. Now you made all these artificial arrangements to get the child. Now you will have to also pay the price. So there are many points that are conveyed through, many lessons through a story. So that's why I want you to read the book, the full story of Piche Ka Aage Ka. Yes, Mataji has a question. Audio, we have classes, but
Yeah, they were like for some cantos there are audio versions that I've heard, or fifth canto I've heard a little bit, but not for all.
Mataji,
So like whatever we are suffering from the past life, whatever the karma, the wrong karma we did. So the thing, like, before knowing about all this, if somebody did something wrong, right? Because he was not in the Krishna consciousness, or he don't know he is doing wrong, but now he is in a devotion. So does he is going to face that problem in this birth, or he is going to get that punishment in the next birth?
Mataji, I'll just tell you one thing about this. I'll just tell you one thing. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashrami ma shucha. Krishna has said, do not worry. So we do not know this karma. The pothi of karma is very intricate. We don't need to try to unravel it. Which action of mine might have caused this reaction that I'm facing, or which reaction will I face in future? Which one got burnt up? Which one I'm still to burn? All those things is not in our control. Do not need to ponder on that. Krishna said, I will take care of it. Just come to me. Just surrender unto me. So by one Harinam, by one Shuddhanam, many sinful reactions of many janmas, many births are being cancelled. So let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Does that answer? Do not need to dwell on this. He said no worry. So why do you worry? Don't worry.
Control the controllable.
It's like, you have to get your punishment, what you did, karma. Like,
again, don't worry. Whatever punishment come, take it as Krishna's prasad.
Yeah.
Whatever punishment problem, this is for your purification. Krishna's arrangement. It's like you have understood this is my father. Child has understood this is my father. Now, if the father punishes me, it'll be for my good. He's not going to punish me unless I need it. So, just like the child surrenders to their father, okay, this is for my good. You know?
Just won't be sad and just.
Right.
Whatever comes, just take it. It's not algebra in math. Like I did 6 punya and 2 paap, so 4 punya. No. 2 paap bhi hoga, 2 6 punya bhi. It will come.
Okay, thank you everyone. We'll stop online. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining.
Just do a quick aarti.